Good day. Today we will take a look at your cellular injury. Note that your cells are the fundamental units of life. They are the structural and functional unit of an organism or of life. And your cells constantly adapt to their environment to maintain balance or homeostasis, as what you call. However, when your cells are exposed to stress beyond their adaptive capacity, or when your cells encounter harmful agents like microorganisms or like extremes in temperature, too hot, too cold, or other harmful agents, the structure of your cells and the function can be compromised. And this condition is referred to as your cell injury. And your cell injury is a central concept in pathology because it forms the basis of many diseases. Your cell injury can either be reversible or irreversible. You say irreversible if the damaging stimulus is mild or short-lived, allowing your cell to recover. However, if the injury is severe or it is prolonged, okay, and so yes, comparing it with your reversible, it may lead to irreversible damage. Again, if the injury is severe or prolonged, it may lead to irreversible damage, resulting, of course, in cell death through necrosis or apoptosis accordingly. And yes, understanding the causes, mechanisms, and morphologic features of cell injury accordingly is essential for interpreting disease process. It is also important in guiding the diagnosis and developing treatment in the clinical practice. Your body cells automatically function within specific parameters to maintain homeostasis, which is again that is your balance or your steady state of equilibrium. And yes, your cells are injured by physiologic stress and pathologic stimuli. Again, it's a physiologic stress and pathologic stimuli. Okay, and so when you say physiologic, that is the normal functioning of your cells. Okay, and so if there is an increased demand, okay, and so that is a physiologic stress. But then when you say pathologic stimuli, that can either be caused by infection, what you call this, exposure to harmful agents, or deprivation of oxygen, or others. Okay, and in case that your cells are injured by physiologic stress and pathologic stimuli, your cells can adapt. Okay, your cell adapts, and you have here your methods of cellular adaptation include your atrophy. Your atrophy, when you say atrophy, that is the decrease in cell size. Your hypertrophy, that is the increase in cell size. And then your hyperplasia, that is the increase in cell number. Increase in cell number. And when you say metaplasia, there is a change in mature cell type. Again, there is a change in mature cell type. Please note that cellular adaptations can be reversed if the source of the source of the stress or the source of the stimuli or the source of the stress or the stimuli is removed. But then, as what we have stated earlier, okay, in case of irreversible damage, the damage is severe or there is a prolonged stress, there it can irreversibly injure or kill the cells. Cells can be injured by many stimuli, okay? And injury can cause disease. Your injury can occur at the molecular level, at the DNA level. How? By either mutation of the DNA or deletion of a portion of the DNA or addition of a portion, okay, or addition of a base to your DNA. Your injury can also occur at the cellular, at the tissue, and even at the organ level. And again, your cells can be injured by a lot of stimulus. One of these, among them are hypoxia, microorganisms, and even aging. And please note that cellular injury occurs in a continuum and produces local and systemic effects. Okay, and so giving you, of course, a disease, giving you a sign and a symptom. Okay, let's take a look at your hypoxia. Accordingly, your hypoxia, this is one of the causes of your cellular injury. Your hypoxia happens when there is a decreased oxygen or too little oxygen carried in the blood. Okay, there is too little oxygen carried in the blood. Please note that ischemia is the most common cause of hypoxia. Okay, and so have you heard of ischemia? Okay, and so that is your arterial obstruction. Please note in this case that your red cells that is present in your blood, that is, they carry oxygen. Okay, and so your red blood cells, that is accordingly your oxygen carrying capacity of your blood. Okay, that is their main function, to deliver blood to the tissues. And in case that there is a reduced blood supply or there is an arterial obstruction in case of ischemia, then there is also a decrease in oxygenation or oxygen that is delivered in that part. With that, ischemia accordingly is the most common cause of hypoxia. Okay? Your hypoxia will result in a deficiency of essential nutrients and a buildup of toxic metabolites. Okay, and so please note that you have what you call this biochemical pathways inside your cells that need, okay, and so that really require oxygen. Okay, and in such cases, of course, your cell or that biochemical pathway will not push through in the absence of oxygen. Okay, please note that inadequate oxygenation of the blood will also what we call this contribute or is also a cause of hypoxia, like in case of lung abnormalities. Again, inadequate oxygenation of the blood, again, so will also cause hypoxia, like in lung abnormalities or you have chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, yung mga ganon, or reduction in the oxygen carrying capacity of the blood, you have anemia, okay, and also carbon monoxide poisoning. Okay, in case of your carbon monoxide poisoning, your carbon monoxide has a greater affinity to oxygen comparing it with your hemoglobin. Accordingly, based on the accounts of hematology, the affinity of your carbon monoxide to oxygen is 200 times greater than hemoglobin. So somewhat in case of carbon monoxide poisoning, your carbon monoxide will compete. It will compete with hemoglobin. Okay, it will compete with hemoglobin if in that case, okay, and so there is no enough oxygen that will bind to hemoglobin, okay, giving you a decrease oxygen that is being delivered to your tissues. Again, that is in case of carbon monoxide poisoning. Again, in carbon monoxide poisoning, there is the affinity of your carbon monoxide to oxygen is 200 times greater. Okay, again, yes, inadequate tissue oxygenation of the blood maybe due to lung abnormalities, reduction in the oxygen carrying capacity of the blood like anemia. Okay, and carbon monoxide poisoning. These are just some causes of your hypoxia. Okay, another cause of cellular injury, you have your trauma and extremes in temperature, like you have an increased heat or what you call this decrease in temperature, like a freezing temperature. This ones can cause cellular injury. Okay, trauma will disrupt cells and tissues resulting to hemorrhage and ischemia. Okay, again, your trauma will disrupt your cells and tissues. It will break. Okay, and so it will mechanically break the connection of your cells, or it will mechanically break your cell membrane. Okay, that is for your trauma. Again, trauma will disrupt your cells and tissues, resulting to hemorrhage and ischemia. And please note, your mild heat will cause leakage of ATP, or adenosine triphosphate. Okay, when you see adenosine triphosphate, in case of biochemistry, this is your energy currency of the cell. Okay, and so ATP is required in a lot of metabolic pathways. And yes, again, as what we said earlier, intense heat or increased heat exposure will liquefy your cell membrane. Okay, and so it will liquefy your cell membrane. Again, mild heat will only cause leakage of adenosine triphosphate, while an increased or intense heat exposure will liquefy your cell membrane. Okay, it will liquefy your cell membrane. And prolonged exposure to cold temperatures can freeze the water present inside the cells. Please note that your cytosol, that is what they call this, made of water. Okay, your cytosol or your intracellular fluid is made of water. And yes, okay, and so any liquid, please note that accordingly, any liquid can be frozen, okay, and so they can be frozen, they can freeze. And yes, okay, and so again, prolonged exposure in cold temperatures can freeze the water present inside your cell or the intracellular fluid that will cause a frostbite. It will cause frostbite. Okay, with that, it will cause injury. Okay, and yes, in case the ice crystals that formed in the cytoplasm will rupture the membrane. Okay, they will rupture the membrane of the cell, leading to necrosis accordingly. Leading to necrosis, leaking, of course, the cellular contents. Another one is ionizing radiation. How will this do? How will it cause injury? Sorry. It will dissociate water into hydrogen and hydroxyl ions. Okay, your hydroxyl ions that is produced by your ionizing radiation will attach to DNA, to your deoxyribonucleic acid, and will prevent the replication process. It will prevent the replication process, especially in your rapidly dividing cells like your blood cells and your epithelial cells. Okay, like your blood cells and your epithelial cells. That is why there are radiations that can cause aplastic anemia and other types of diseases. Okay, and so by reducing the number of cells, okay, they will disrupt your hydrogen bonds. How will your products of your hydrogen, especially your hydroxyl ions, how will they prevent DNA replication? They will either disrupt your hydrogen bonds present in the DNA, or they will also disrupt your phosphodiester bond present in the DNA. If those are actually disrupted, then the DNA replication, it will actually cause a damage to the DNA. If there is damage to the DNA, then what we call this replication process will not proceed. Aside from disruption of your phosphodiester and hydrogen bonds, your hydroxyl ions will also cause the amination of your bases. The amination of your bases. Please note kasi your, what we call this, your products of your ionizing radiation, okay, and so they are somewhat reactive. Okay, and in such cases, uh, in cases of your hydroxyl ions binding, preventing your replication, your red and white blood cell counts will drop after radiation exposure. Okay, please note that in this case, your red cells, they are rapidly dividing cells. Even your white blood cells, they are rapidly dividing cells. If there is this drop in this blood cell counts, okay, and so it will affect, let's say for example, let's go back to your hypoxia. Your red cells, if there is a drop in red cells, okay, there is also a decrease in the oxygen carrying capacity of the blood. If there is a drop in white blood cells, again, so then there is a decrease in the capacity of your body to ward off organisms. Okay? Another one here is your toxic substances. Toxic substances can be chemicals, or yes, can be chemicals. You have your corrosives, something like that. Anyway, again, so yes, toxic substances can cause direct chemical injury, or yes, direct chemical injury or generation and accumulation of toxic substances after exposure to chemicals. Okay, and so direct, let's say for example, in direct chemical injury, okay, let's say natapunan ka ng sulfuric acid, of course, it will cause a burn. Okay, and so it will somewhat burn your skin. And yes, that is a direct chemical injury. Okay, and so generation and accumulation of toxic substances. Let's say, for example, you have this chronic exposure to what you call this, to chemicals, like let's say, for example, your benzene, okay, or your other chemicals like ano ba, heavy metals, example, lead, mercury, yung mga ganyan. Okay, and so chronic exposure to such chemicals can injure organs. Okay, and so it can injure organs like your liver. Okay, toxic substances. Okay, and so from your illegal drugs, actually, even your legal drugs, even, yeah, even yung mga nabibili lang po sa butika. Okay, and so, yes, it can generate and possible accumulate toxic substances. Again, toxic substances will include your legal and illegal drugs, chemical warfare agents, alcohol. Okay, and so alcohol, not the rubbing alcohol, yung iniinom po na alcohol. And again, carbon monoxide. Exposure to carbon monoxide, to alcohol, of course, these ones will cause injury. Either they will generate a substance, or the toxic substance generated will accumulate. Okay, your strong acids and bases can directly disrupt your cells and will cause major damage to tissues and organs. Like the example that I've given you earlier, in case of, yes, in case of accidental spill of sulfuric acid to your skin. Yes, it will cause a major, or it will disrupt your cells. It will cause a damage to your skin. Ganon. Okay? And another one, your infectious agents. Infectious agents. What are your infectious agents? When you say infectious agents, you have your bacteria, your fungi, parasite, and virus. Okay, and so if you want to add your infectious protein, your prion, no? Okay, your infectious agents, please note that all types of disease-causing pathogens, you have there your bacteria, fungi, virus, parasites, okay, and so will injure your cells, okay, and so they can injure your cells. Okay, please note that some bacterial species produce toxins that damage the body cells. Okay, they damage the body cells. Of course, in your infectious agents, please note, okay, and so the action of your infectious agent is what you call this, clearly explained in your, yeah, it's clearly explained in your microbiology, in your bacte, in your micropara, in your mycology. Ganyan na lang po. Again, so but then, again, you have endotoxins present in the cell wall of your gram-negative microorganisms. Okay, and so they can cause vascular collapse or blood clotting within blood vessels. Okay, and so again, your cell wall of gram-negative organism contains substances that become toxins when your bacteria dies, and you call that as your endotoxin. Okay, your your viruses can directly invade a cell and produce a disease. And yes, they can elicit an immune response that kills the virus but also kills the entire cell containing the virus. Okay, and so that is the action of your infectious agents. Moving on to your immunologic reaction. Yeah, although the immune system accordingly defends the body against pathogenic microbes, your immune reactions can also result in cell and tissue injury. Example, hypersensitivity reaction, immediate hypersensitivity reaction, or anaphylactic shock. Okay, and so these ones can cause what they call this, they can cause injury, cellular injury. Okay, and so immune reactions accordingly are generated by the body to kill microorganisms, invading microorganisms. But then, although the reactions by the immune reactions usually kill the invader, the surrounding tissue accordingly can also be damaged. Like, let's say, for example, uh, when your body when your body accordingly sends neutrophils to neutralize foreign materials by releasing digestive enzymes, the enzymes will not only kill or digest the microorganism, it will not only kill the microorganism, it has the ability to digest the nearby tissue. Again, when your neutrophil, okay, and so kill or neutralize foreign materials, they release digestive enzymes. And yes, the digestive enzymes will not only kill the microbe or the microorganism. They have the ability, or they can kill, or they will digest also the nearby tissue. Aside from that, your autoimmune reactions against one's own tissues, your allergic reaction against environmental substances, and excessive or chronic immune responses to microbes will also cause cellular injury. And yes, in this portion, okay, and so the what they call this, your causes of your cellular injury or your immunologic reaction is further explained in immunology and serology. Yes, you have a separate subject for immunology and serology. Okay, moving on. You have your nutritional imbalances. Nutritional imbalances, that is either an excess or deficient. Excess or deficiency in nutrients. Okay, excess or deficiency in nutrients can cause an injury. Let's take a look at this example. Excessive dietary intake. Okay, and so of substances, let's say of food, will result in obesity. Okay, and so it will result in obesity. Or let's take a look in case of diabetes mellitus. Excessive intake of sugar, okay, and so will cause diabetes. Okay, and so if not regulated, of course, or absence or deficiency in protein intake or deficiency in calorie intake. Okay, and so will cause an injury and thereby will cause a disease like uh kwashiorkor and marasmus respectively. Okay, in case of vitamin or mineral deficiencies, they can also injure cells by interfering with or blocking important metabolic processes. Okay, and so if you try to connect, okay, in hematology again, okay, there is a deficiency in vitamin B12. Okay, and so there is a deficiency in vitamin B12, and vitamin B12 is needed for the normal production and proliferation of blood cells. No? Okay, if that happens, then it will interfere with the normal proliferation and what they call this production and proliferation of your cells, causing other diseases. Okay, your genetic abnormalities, either genetic abnormalities like let's say for example deleting a portion of your DNA or what they call this adding a nucleotide base. Okay, and so can cause a cellular injury. Or in case of chromosome, at the chromosome level, deletion or omission of an entire chromosome will usually, uh, yeah, it will cause a chromosomal abnormality. Okay, genetic mutations can lead to altered or missing products affecting physiologic function. Deficiency in functional protein and enzymes, okay, and so will cause what they call the cellular injury. And yes, accumulation of damaged DNA or misfolded protein will cause cellular injury, of course. In genetic abnormalities, congenital malformations of chromosomes, addition or deletion of nucleotide base. Okay, and so this will cause genetic abnormalities accordingly. Okay, in the case of cancer, your cancer accordingly arises from genetically damaged cells that that continue to proliferate instead of undergoing apoptosis. And yes, your uncontrollable cell division will create a tumor, okay, as more and more cells are produced. And with that, it will cause cellular injury also. Aging. Aging will affect all cells and ultimately led to death. Yes, as what we stated last time, you have what they call this lifespan of your cells. Your cells normally again they have this lifespan. And at the end of the lifespan, okay, and so they die at the end of it. Your normal cells, your normal cells, death is coupled to the generation of new cells. Okay, and so there is, accordingly, I presented to you this one last time also, that there is an equilibrium between, there is an equilibrium between the death of your cell and the production of your cell. Dapat po, hindi siya nag-e-exceed. One should not exceed accordingly. And yes, normal cell death is coupled to the generation of new cells to replace the cells that die. That is normal. But then, in case of necrosis, in contrast, okay, and so this cell death is caused by severe or prolonged cellular injury. Okay, and so yes, these are just your causes of your cellular. Yes, let's move on to your reversible cell injury and your irreversible cell injury. Your reversible cell injury, accordingly, you can revert the injured cell into the normal cell. Okay? This one, accordingly, based on this, your cell injury is a stage of cell injury wherein the deranged function and morphology of the injured cells can return to normal if the damaging stimulus is removed. If the damaging stimulus is removed, it can be reverted into the normal one. Okay, and so if the damaging stimulus is removed, okay, if the damaging stimulus is not severe, if the damaging stimulus is not prolonged. Okay? And yes, mechanism or paano po nangyayari ang reversible cell injury or the injury? There is a failure of energy-dependent ion pumps in the plasma membrane. Failure of energy-dependent ATP-dependent ion pumps in the plasma membrane. Please note that going back in your biochemistry, you need oxygen to produce a lot of ATP in oxidative respiration. Okay? in aerobic respiration. Kasi in anaerobic respiration, mas unti lang po ang napoproduce na ATP. Mas unti ang napoproduce na ATP and a consequence of anaerobic respiration is there is the production of lactic acid. Okay, and so which is not good, which is your lactic acid can cause an injury. Okay, and so yes, in this one, there is a failure of energy-dependent ion pumps in the plasma membrane. If the ion pumps fails, then there will be an imbalance in the ionic and fluid content of the cell. There is no homeostasis already. There is no equilibrium. Okay, there is also an accumulation of degenerated lipids and organelles inside the cell. Okay, and so for your reversible injury, there is morphologic swelling. Why? There is accumulation of degenerated lipids and organelles inside the cell. Sabi niya dito, there is an inability to maintain ionic and fluid homeostasis. So probably you are taking in much of water inside your cell, causing a morphologic swelling. Your cellular swelling. This one is other termed as your hydropic change. And this is due to increase the permeability of the plasma membrane, leading to a failure of energy-dependent ion pumps. Okay, and accordingly, this one is often apparent at the level of the whole organ. Paano po mangyayari? There is a visible pallor in the organs. Okay, and so there is an increase in the organ weight due to increase in the cell size. There is also an increase in the contents of the cell. Okay, and so there is an increased turgor also. Okay, there is an increased pressure in your cell. Okay, there is a visible pallor. Paano po nagkakaroon ng pallor? Okay, and so in your cells, due to compression of your capillaries. Compression of your capillaries in your organs. And there are also small clear vacuoles within the cytoplasm of cells affected. Okay, and so these are distended and pinched off segments of your endoplasmic reticulum. That is for your cellular po ha, swelling po, cellular swelling. Kasi capsular swelling is for microbiology po yon. Sorry ha, sorry. It is cellular. Yes, there is also a fatty change. Fatty change, nakikita din po to in reversible cell injury. This is the appearance of triglyceride-containing lipid vacuoles in the cytoplasm. And this fatty change is usually encountered in organs involved in lipid metabolism, like the liver again. Okay, that is for your fatty change. Aside from those, in your cells or in your reversible cell injury, there is a blebbing, blunting, or distortion of microvilli and loosening of the intercellular attachments. Intercellular attachments, you have your junctions. Tama? Okay? Again, you have blebbing, blunting, distortion of your microvilli, and loosening of your intercellular attachment. There is swelling in the appearance of phospholipid-rich amorphous densities and dilation of your endoplasmic reticulum with detachment of ribosomes, clumping of chromatin, again, so and then an eosinophilic cytoplasm. Eosinophilic cytoplasm. These ones can be seen in reversible cell injury. Your irreversible cell injury. When you say irreversible, okay, and so it cannot be reverted anymore. Okay, and so yes, in irreversible cell injury, there is the persistence of noxious exposure. Okay, and so there you are still exposed. You are still exposed to the offending substance or offending stimuli. Or either excessive exposure na sobra-sobrahan na. yung exposure mo, the exposure of the cell to the offending stimuli. Okay? Your irreversible cell injury is the cellular damage that has passed the point of no return. Point of no return. When you say point of no return, okay, and so you cannot, what you call this, revert it back to normal already. Okay? And your point of no return accordingly here is what you call this, characterized by your point of no return for your irreversible cell injury is characterized by inability to restore mitochondrial function even after resolution of the original. Okay, even if accordingly you remove the stimulus, okay, but then the function of the mitochondria cannot be restored, then it is already irreversible. Loss of structure and function of the plasma membrane and intracellular membrane. Yeah, there is probably a damage in the normal morphology of the cell, and there is a loss of DNA and chromatin structural integrity. All of these are characteristic of your irreversible cell injury. And yes, injuries to your lysosomal membranes. Okay, lysosomal membranes. Please note, ano po ba ang content ng lysosome? They contain hydrolytic enzymes. And if the membrane of your lysosomal enzyme is damaged, of course, it will leak, or the uh, the hydrolytic enzymes will leak or liberated, causing an enzymatic dissolution of the injured cell. And yes, giving you your cell death. Okay, and so in irreversible cell injury, the cell cannot return to its, or it cannot be reverted into its original structure and function. Okay, and the resolution is death. The resolution for your irreversible cell injury is death of the cell. Okay, let's take a look at your general mechanisms of your cell injury. Okay, and so accordingly, cellular response to injurious stimuli depends on the type of injury. Okay, and so depends on the type. If that is hypoxia, if that is direct chemical damage, ganon. Duration, okay, short lang ba? Or is it prolonged? Or, yeah. And then the severity. Of course, the severity. Consequences of an injurious stimuli also depend on the type, status, adaptability, and genetic makeup of the injured cell. Okay, and so again, consequences of injurious stimuli also depend on the type, status, adaptability, and genetic makeup of your injured cell. Let's take a look at your cardiac muscle cells or cardiac cells, cardiac muscle cells, and your skeletal muscle cells. Okay, your skeletal muscle cells, okay, and so they can withstand accordingly a tissue hypoxia, comparing it with your cardiac muscle cells. Again, cardiac muscle cells, okay, and so cannot withstand tissue hypoxia. Okay, and cell injury usually results from functional and biochemical abnormalities in one or more of a limited number of essential cellular components. Okay. Yes, again, for your mechanisms of your injury. Okay, and so low doses of toxins. Okay, and so or a brief, short period of ischemia. Okay, and so may lead to reversible injury. While, okay, and so large doses of toxin or longer ischemic episodes can result in irreversible injury. Okay? And again, okay, and so the example that I've given you your ischemia in your skeletal and cardiac muscle cells. Okay, and so because yes, your skeletal, okay, and so can withstand ischemia, and then your cardiac muscle cells cannot. Okay, your cell response to injury is not an all or nothing phenomenon. Yeah, your response to a given stimuli depends on the type, status, and genetic makeup of the injured cell, as what we said earlier. Okay, comparing the example that I gave, you have your skeletal and cardiac muscle fiber in response to tissue ischemia. Your cells are complex interconnected systems, and a single local injury can result in multiple secondary and tertiary effects. Yes, there is somewhat a domino effect in here. Please note, your cells, they are in close proximity with each other, or dikit-dikit naman sila. Okay, and so dikit-dikit sila. They are in close contact with each other. Okay, and so that is why if a cell is one cell is affected, it will affect the surrounding cells. Parang ganon. And cell function is lost far before biochemical and subsequently morphological manifestations of injury become detectable. So probably, mauunang mawawala ang cell function. Okay, and so maunang mawawala ang cell function or the cell function is affected first before the biochemical and morphological manifestations will take place. Okay? You have here your loss of energy, mechanisms of cell injury, loss of energy due to hypoxia, mitochondrial damage due to hypoxia pa rin po ito, loss of calcium homeostasis, pwede pa rin po ang due to hypoxia, and defects in plasma membrane permeability, generation of reactive oxygen species, and other free radicals. Okay, and so somewhat general mechanism po ito Okay, and so of your biochemical general mechanism of your cell injury. Let's take a look. General biochemical mechanisms. You have here your loss of ATP or loss of energy. You have here your ATP depletion caused by oxygen depletion. Okay, and so with this, it will lead to reduce activity of sodium pump at the cell membrane. Okay, and so yes, please note that your what you call this, your sodium pump, it requires energy. It requires ATP. Pakibalikan na lang po your biochemistry. Okay, and so yes, your biology of the cell, ganyan. Okay, they require your sodium pump, your sodium potassium pump. Okay, they require energy. And balikan po natin. Okay, and so energy production requires oxygen. Energy production requires oxygen. Or your mitochondria requires oxygen. Okay? If oxygen is depleted, then ATP production is depleted. Or, yeah, somewhat ATP production is affected. Okay? It will reduce with that. Okay, and so your what you call this mechanisms, your sodium potassium pump mechanism present in your cell membrane needs or it requires ATP. And since may tissue hypoxia, there is a decrease in the production of decrease in the production of ATP. And kailangan ng sodium potassium pump ng ATP. Then the sodium potassium pump is affected. Okay, and so it is not anymore, the sodium potassium pump is not anymore effective. If nangyari po yon, it will, what they call this, it will cause an influx of water across the membrane. Okay, and so again, your what you call this, your reduction of the activity of the sodium pump of the cell membrane will what you call this will lead to gross changes in intracellular sodium and potassium concentration. Okay, sabi niya dito in the image, influx of calcium, water, and sodium. Okay, and efflux of potassium, sabi niya doon. Okay, with that, there is an influx of water across the membrane, causing it to swell. Okay? Kaya po, lalaki yung cell in this case. Okay? And there is also a failure of intracellular calcium homeostasis. There is a failure of intracellular calcium homeostasis. Please note, there is an influx of calcium. Kasi normally, in a normal cell, the calcium concentrations inside the cell is kept low. They are kept low by ATP-dependent proteins. Kasi, but then, okay, and so, but then, in case, okay, and so that this ATP-dependent proteins are defective, then of course there is an influx of calcium inside the cell. Okay, and so other than that, you have here an anaerobic glycolysis. Sabi niya, there is an increase in lactic acid causing a decrease in the pH. There is a decrease in the pH. If that will happen, magkakaroon po ng acidosis or ng what you call this, acidic pH, which is not okay, and so which is not the requirement of most of the reactions. And then accordingly, one here is detachment of ribosomes, thereby decreasing protein synthesis. Okay, your loss of ATP, you have here your increase in intracellular calcium. Again, sabi ko kanina, your calcium levels inside the cell is kept low. Okay, low levels of calcium inside the cell is kept low by ATP-dependent proteins. Okay, and so they need ATP for them to make their work to keep to keep the low levels of calcium inside the cell. But then, if ATP production is defective, okay, since kailangan po nila ng ATP at walang ATP, they cannot work. These ATP-dependent proteins cannot work to make what you call this, to keep the calcium levels low. So, mangyayari dyan is there will what you call this, an increase in the intracellular calcium. And here are the effects of an increased intracellular calcium. It will activate phospholipases, which will break down membranes. Please note the composition of your cell membrane. The composition of your cell membrane is 70% made of phospholipids. Actually, your other membranes, okay, your other membranes like your organelle membranes, the membranes of your organelles are also destroyed by your phospholipases. Others, your increase in intracellular calcium will activate endonuclease, which will degrade your DNA. Of course, it will cause injury. Activate protease, which also destroy membranes and other cytosolic components. And then it will further damage mitochondria, leading to a vicious cycle. Please note that your mitochondria, this one is enclosed by a membrane, and the phospholipase can destroy the membrane of the mitochondria. And then again, you have your membrane mitochondrial damage. Mitochondrial damage, this one is caused by decrease in oxygen, toxins, and increased intracellular calcium levels, as what we learned earlier. Okay? ATP production is decreased in this, and cytochrome C is also released. Cytochrome C that will initiate destruction accordingly. Okay? And then you have your loss of calcium homeostasis. Nabanggit po natin kanina ito. It will increase intracellular calcium levels to activate your phospholipases that will destroy your membranes, endonucleases, proteases, and ATPases. Okay? Defects in plasma membrane permeability. It will increase permeability of the cell membrane that will cause imbalance in the normal contents of the cytosol, causing an influx of water, sodium, and calcium. and an efflux of potassium. Okay, and so causing a swelling. And yes, please note swelling, that is not the normal size of the cell. And then generation of reactive oxygen species and other free radicals. Okay, and so what are the effects of your reactive oxygen species? They will cause membrane damage due to lipid peroxidation. Please note kasi that sabi ko kanina, your reactive oxygen species, these are uh, active. They are actually hyperactive. Okay, and so they can react with any. Your reactive oxygen species, like example, kasi superoxide and ion, H2O2, hydrogen peroxide, no? Ano pa ba? Hydroxyl radical is one also. Kaya, mapapansin nyo is in Bacte, okay? And so in Bacte, there is this test na ginagawa, okay? And so to degrade, what you call this, H2O2. And yes, accordingly, our body is capable of producing H2O2. Okay, and so if you try to remember our lecture on the cell, okay, and so there is this organelle inside the cell, okay, and so that is capable of degrading H2O2. Okay, and so yes, your reactive oxygen and other free radicals can activate enzyme due to protein oxidation, and yes, they can cause DNA damage due to mutation. Yes, finally, cell death. But then, it's 26/49. Cell death. Okay, and so your cells die by different mechanisms, depending on the nature and severity of the insult. You have here your necrosis and apoptosis. When you say apoptosis, okay, and so this one accordingly occurs in healthy tissues. Your apoptosis occurs in healthy tissues. And yes, okay, and so there is this portion na sinasabi pong apoptosis is a regulated cell death because accordingly, it can be regulated by agents, therapeutic agents actually, therapeutic and genetic mutation. And in apoptosis, since sabi nyo dito, again, so regulated and other definition is it is your programmed cell death, your apoptosis will activate a precise set of molecular pathways that will, what they call this, of course, culminate in death. Okay? And your necrosis. Necrosis happens accidentally because the injury to the cell is too severe to be repaired and many cellular constituents simply fail or they already fall apart. Okay, and so it is an accidental, caused by pathologic stimulus. Okay, and so cellular functions accordingly may be lost long before cell death. Okay, and so let's say, sabi natin kanina, cell function may be lost before biochemical manifestation. So yes, somewhat, nauuna po na nawawala ang function ng cell bago nagkakaroon ng biochemical and morphological manifestation, bago mamamatay of course. Okay, and so first, cell function is lost before manifestation, biochemical and morphological, and then cell death. Okay, and so yes, cell death accordingly will eliminate unwanted cells during normal development and to maintain constant cell numbers. Okay, and so actually that is an apoptosis. Okay, and so cell death will serve to eliminate unwanted cells during normal development and maintain constant cell numbers. Okay, and so that is usually in apoptosis. Okay, please note that cell death is not necessarily associated with pathologic injury or pathologic stimulus. Again, sabi ko nga, when we talk about your cell division, okay, and so every day may namamatay po na cell when they reach their lifespan. And dapat the death of the cell the number of cell death should equal the number of cells produced. Or is it the other way around? The number of cells produced should equal the number of deaths, cell deaths. Ganon. Okay, and so let's move on to necrosis. Necrosis, this is a form of cell death in which cellular membranes fall apart and the cellular enzymes leak out and ultimately digest the cell. Okay, and so cellular enzymes leak out and ultimately digest the cell. Okay, and so if in that case, okay, and so there is leaking, magkakaroon po ng inflammation. Inflammation, please note that this one is caused by the leakage of substances from the cells. Okay, and so leakage of substances from the cells affecting the surrounding cells. Okay, and yes, please note that substances responsible or enzymes responsible for digestion of the cells or cell are derived from lysosomes and may come from the dying cells themselves. Okay, and so again, your lysosomal enzymes, they will digest the cell, and the lysosomal enzymes may come from the dying cell itself. Or the lysosomal enzyme can come from leukocytes recruited to the site of inflammation. Okay, you have here your morphologic changes in the cytoplasm and nuclei of cells in case of necrosis. In the cytoplasm, there is an increased eosinophilia. There is an increased eosinophilia. Bakit po? Okay, and so there is an increased binding of eosin to the denatured protein. Again, there is an increased binding of eosin to the denatured protein. When you say eosinophilia, nagiging medyo reddish or orange siya. Okay, and aside from that, aside from there is an increase in binding of eosin to the denatured protein, there is also the loss of RNA. Loss of basophilic, accordingly, there is the loss of basophilic RNA. Aside from that, again, so in the cytoplasm, morphologic changes in the cytoplasm and nuclei of the cells, sabi niya kasi dyan. In the cytoplasm, there is an increased eosinophilia. There is a glassy, homogeneous appearance due to the loss of lighter staining glycogen particles. Probably nagamit or probably nag-leak out. And then, okay, and so there is a more prominent myelin figures, vacuolated cytoplasm, probably when your enzymes digest your organelles. Okay, and so kaya nagkakaroon ng vacuolation. And then, discontinuities in cell and organelle membranes. Discontinuities. Accordingly, these discontinuities, they are seen, what you call this, microscopically. And then dilatation of the, sorry, it's not microscopic, it's uh, with a high magnification microscope, sorry. And then dilatation of the mitochondria. Dilatation of the mitochondria seen in necrosis. I mean in, yeah, necrosis. Actually, the cell itself will shrink. The cell will shrink in case of this. Okay, changes, nuclear changes. You have here your patterns resulting from the breakdown of DNA and chromatin. Nuclear changes, you have pycnosis. Pycnosis, okay, and so the DNA will condense. Okay, and so the DNA will condense in a dark shrunken mass. And so there is a shrinkage, and then, yes, it will condense, and then liliit siya. Okay, and so nuclear shrinkage and increased basophilia. Pycnotic nuclei. Lumiit at mas naging blue. Okay, parang ganon. And then, karyorexis. Okay, and so there is this fragmentation of the nuclei. There is a fragmentation of the nuclei. Karyolysis. There is a digestion of the DNA by deoxyribonucleic nuclease. So in karyolysis, the basophilia seen in pycnosis will fade. Okay, kasi nga, bakit? Na-digest, nawala. Okay, and accordingly, in 1 to 2 days, the nuclei in dead cell may appear. Okay? And yes, please note that dead cells may be replaced by myelin figures and may be phagocytosed or degraded into fatty acid. Okay, and so degraded into fatty acid. And accordingly, the fatty acid may bind with calcium salts. They may bind with calcium salts and then magka-calcify po sila. Ganon. Okay, morphologic patterns of tissue necrosis. You have coagulative. Here you have what they call this caseous, gangrenous, fat, ganyan. Okay? And so in severe pathologic conditions, your large areas of tissue or even the entire organ may undergo necrosis. Please note, sabi niya dito ha, severe. In severe pathologic conditions, large areas of tissue or even entire organ may undergo necrosis. And yes, again, so your necrosis, please note, is in association with prolonged ischemia, okay, infections, and inflammatory reactions. Okay, and so, or what you call this, the causes of your injury. Diba? Na nabanggit natin kanina. Hindi lang naman po hypoxia ang nabanggit natin kanina. Like, what you call this, chemicals, trauma, ganyan. Mechanical trauma. Okay, you have here your morphologic patterns na sabi natin kanina, coagulative, gangrenous, fat, fibrinoid, mga ganyan. Okay, coagulative necrosis. In coagulative necrosis, the tissue architecture is preserved for several days. Okay, and so preserved for several days accordingly. The affected tissue has a firm texture. It has a firm texture. Okay? It has a firm texture. Please note that the injury will denature enzymes and structural proteins. Okay, and so it will denature enzymes and structural proteins. Please note your proteolysis of dead cells is also blocked, and dead cells are digested by lysosomal enzymes of attracted leukocytes. Of attracted leukocytes ha. Kasi sabi natin, the injury will denature enzymes and structural proteins. Kaya firm. That is why the tissue architecture is firm. Okay, and so yes, walang na-digest or whatsoever. Eosinophilic cells will persist for days. And example of your coagulative necrosis is infarcts in all solid organs of the body except the brain. Okay, and so your myocardial infarcts kasi in myocardial infarction there is a decrease in tissue oxygenation pa rin, hypoxia pa rin po yun, ischemia pa rin po ang cause nun. Okay, and so because balikan po natin, if nawala po ang oxygen, your enzymes, okay, and so cannot work, 'di ba? Your enzymes accordingly cannot work. Kaya po nade-denature sila. Okay, and so they cannot work or they cannot act on the cell. Okay, and so kaya sabi niya dito is the tissue architecture is preserved for several days. And okay, and so the dead cells are not digested. Okay, they are not digested by intracellular lysosomal enzymes. They are just digested by the attracted leukocytes. Okay, and so example again, infarcts in all solid organs of the body except the brain. Kasi sa brain is liquefactive ang nangyayari. Here actually is an example of a, what we call this, coagulative necrosis. Okay, ganyan po siya. The yellow one here, the yellow portion. Okay, and so accordingly, this is from a kidney. This one is a kidney tissue. No, the yellow one here is the infarct. Okay, this one naman, okay, and so is a microscopic view of the edge of an infarct, no? Okay, and so the N1 here is, please note, tignan nyo, the N1 is the normal, and the I here, the necrotic. Okay, and so necrotic cells na po ito, the I. Okay, and so there is a preserved outline. There is a preserved outline, cell outline. There is a preserved cell outline here with loss of nuclei and an inflammatory infiltrate is present accordingly. Okay, and so yes, meron pa rin. In the normal, there is a what you call this outline, cell outline. Meron din po dito sa infarct. I-compare mo kasi sa iba. Okay, and so like in liquefactive, wala po. There is no cell outline. Kaya sabi niya is in coagulative necrosis, the tissue architecture is preserved. Tissue architecture ha, not the cell architecture. Tissue architecture. Naiwan nga naman. Okay, and so nawala ang nuclei. Okay, and so in this case. And then you have liquefactive. Liquefactive, again, so liquefactive, the dead cells are completely digested. Dead cells are completely digested. Naging nagliquefy, parang ganon. Nagliquefy. Okay, and so the tissue becomes a viscous liquid. Okay, so somewhat, there is no preservation of the tissue architecture here. Okay, and so, yes, microorganisms will stimulate accumulation of inflammatory cells. Microorganisms will stimulate the accumulation of inflammatory cells. And yes, in turn, these inflammatory cells will produce substances to digest them. Okay, and so enzymes present in the leukocyte will digest the tissue. No? Okay, and so in case of bacterial infection, okay, and so in case of bacterial infection, what they call this, the viscous liquid, you have the pus accordingly. In case of bacterial infection, magkakaroon po ng pus. And yes, examples, focal bacterial and fungal infection, okay, magkakaroon po ng liquefactive necrosis. Hypoxic death within the brain or within the CNS, okay, and so is liquefactive necrosis. Hindi po siya coagulative. Okay, and so this one is an illustration, a liquefactive necrosis of the brain, infarct in the brain. Diba? Look, there is a dissolution of the tissue. Okay, and so there is a dissolution. Look at this, the surrounding area, no? In this one, there is a dissolution of the tissue. And then you have your gangrenous. Gangrenous, accordingly, a limb, usually the lower limb, yung mga paa, has lost its blood supply and has undergone coagulative necrosis. Okay, coagulative necrosis. A superimposed bacterial infection may change the morphologic appearance to liquefactive. Okay, that is for. And then you have your caseous necrosis. Okay, you have here a friable yellow-white appearance in the area of necrosis. And yes, in your caseous necrosis, you have obliterated tissue structure and often surrounded by macrophage and inflammatory cells. You have accordingly a cheese-like structure or cheese-like necrosis here. Again, so tissue location or examples. Okay, and soft tissue injury, foci of tuberculosis infection. Okay, and so for this one. Accordingly, on microscopic examination, the necrotic tissue or the necrotic tuberculous infection appears as a collection of fragmented cells. Okay, and so amorphous, granular pink in appearance kapag na-stain po. And your cellular outlines in caseous necrosis cannot be discerned, unlike with coagulative. Okay, this one is what we call this an illustration of a caseous necrosis. No, yeah, this is a lung tissue, tuberculosis of the lungs. No, okay, and so you have here that the cheesy portion. Okay, and so that is a caseous necrosis. And then you have your fat necrosis. Fat necrosis, you have your focal areas of fat destruction. Okay. Usually, this one happens in uh, acute pancreatitis. Yeah. Okay, acute pancreatitis. Your pancreatic enzymes are released. Okay, and so causing a digestion of the membranes of fat cells. Your pancreatic lipase will split your triglyceride esters and producing accordingly fatty acids. And these fatty acids will combine with calcium to produce a chalky white appearance. Okay, again, fat necrosis nangyari po siya in case of acute pancreatitis. Okay, and so from your pancreas, from the acinus, there is a leak of pancreatic enzymes. There is a release of pancreatic lipase into the pancreas and peritoneal cavity. And yes, they can, what they call this, they can digest, okay, and so your cells. Okay, accordingly, on histologic examination, the foci of fat necrosis contain shadowy outlines of necrotic fat cells. Comparing it with caseous necrosis, no? Okay, and yes, your fat cells are surrounded by basophilic calcium deposits and an inflammatory reaction. Okay, this one is an illustration of fat necrosis. Okay, and so this one destruction of peritoneal fatty tissue. Okay, and then finally, the last of your tissue necrosis, your fibrinoid necrosis. Immune reactions involving antibody complexes deposited in the walls of blood vessels. This, what you call this, fibrinoid necrosis will also occur in severe hypertension. No, deposited immune complexes and plasma proteins in the leak wall will produce a bright pink amorphous appearance on H&E staining. Okay, for your fibrinoid. Parang fibrin-like. Okay, and so fibrin-like daw kasi. This one is a microscopic illustration of a fibrinoid necrosis in an artery. Okay, and so please note that the wall of the artery shows a circumferential bright pink area of necrosis with a protein deposition and inflammation. No, okay, and so you have there your bright pink area. It actually is a table summarizing your necrosis and apoptosis as to the cell size, the nuclei, the cell membrane, the cellular contents, adjacent inflammation, physiologic or pathologic role. Yes, adjacent inflammation. Necrosis, frequent, sabi niya. Yes. In apoptosis, no. There is no inflammation, adjacent inflammation in apoptosis. Okay, please note again, it is regulated. Apoptosis is regulated. Cell death is regulated. And yes, with that, it is also guarded. Okay, aside from those morphological, Your leakage of intracellular proteins through the damaged cell membrane and ultimately into the circulation will provide a means of detecting tissue-specific necrosis using blood or serum samples. Okay, and so that is why you can make a diagnosis kahit hindi mo po nakikita yung necrosis. Ay, hindi mo kailangang i-biopsy para malaman mo, dito nga pala yung necrosis. No. Okay, and so, yes, you can make use of your biochemical or clinical chemistry tests like your enzymes. Let's say, for example, in case SGOT, no, or your ASTALT, mga ganyan. Your SGOT, SGPT, they can give information about the liver. Your CKMB or your troponin I, they can give information about the heart, mga ganon. Okay? Anyway, let's take a look at your apoptosis. Your apoptosis, this is the pathway of cell death in which your cells activate enzymes that degrade the cell's own nuclear DNA and nuclear and cytoplasmic proteins. Okay, you have here, there is a little leakage of cellular components. Little leakage, with that there is no inflammatory response in contrast to necrosis. Okay, and so kasi sabi niya dito, the plasma membrane of the apoptotic cell remains intact. Okay, and so but then the membrane is altered in such a way that fragments you call it as apoptotic bodies become highly edible, leading to the rapid consumption of phagocytes. Again, in apoptosis, there is no inflammatory. Okay, your apoptosis, this one is for the elimination of old cells. Okay, and so yes, kunyari, as alam naman natin that your cells, they have their lifespan. If na-reach na nila yung lifespan, okay, and so then they are killed. That is, they are, yeah, okay, that is an apoptosis. And also for elimination of potentially harmful cells. Okay, and so when your cells are damaged, ganyan. Okay, and so you have two types of apoptosis. You have your physiologic and the other one. Okay, accordingly, in physiologic apoptosis, some cells die and are replaced by new ones. Sabi ko nga ulit, your cell production must equal cell death. Okay? And yes, your physiologic apoptosis will ensure that unwanted cells are eliminated without eliciting potentially harmful inflammation. Okay, so let's take a look at this. In the immune system, your apoptosis will eliminate excess leukocyte at the end of immune response. Also, in the immune system, your lymphocytes are also eliminated. Okay, and so because your lymphocyte, they may recognize self-antigen and can cause autoimmune disease. Apoptosis in pathologic condition is another one. Sabi ko, you have two types, physiologic apoptosis. Your apoptosis in pathologic condition will eliminate cells that are damaged beyond repair. Okay, and so some forms of radiation injury, okay, or severe damage in the DNA, like exposure to radiation and cytotoxic drugs. Accumulation of misfolded proteins will also trigger pathologic apoptotic death. Okay, other than that, elimination of cells infected with virus. Neurode- Neurodegenerative conditions and elimination of tumor cells. Okay, and so for your apoptosis in pathologic conditions. Okay, this one actually is your scheme of events in apoptosis. Okay, and so your scheme of events in apoptosis. Please note that your apoptotic cell, okay, and so it shrinks. Okay, and so if you try to remember the comparison of the cell size, lumiliit po yung apoptotic cell, comparing it with your necrotic cell, wherein they swell. Okay? And so, yes, that is your sequence of events. Scheme, sorry, of events in apoptotic death. Okay, and so you also have your autophagy here. Okay, and so autophagy is not new to you. No, this one refers to lysosomal digestion of the cell's own components in times of nutrient deprivation. Okay, and so this one actually is a survival mechanism, again, in times of survival or nutrient deprivation. Okay, and so that the starved cell can live by eating its own contents, and after that it will recycle these contents to provide nutrients and energy. Okay, and so this one, autophagy, accordingly, is an adaptation, no, to nutrient deprivation. Okay, and so because again, okay, and so an organelle, a part of the cell or a cell, digest their own organelles and they try to recycle to provide energy and substrates. Okay, and so yes, if of course the stress is severe, then apoptosis ang mangyayari, hindi autophagy. Okay, necroptosis. Okay, and so this is a cell death initiated by engagement of two more necrotic factor receptors as well as other poorly defined triggers. And then pyroptosis associated with activation of a cytosolic danger sensing protein complex called the inflammasome. Okay, and so these are your necroptosis and your pyroptosis. These are other forms of cell death naman. Okay, this one is a histologic or a microscopic image of uh, autophagy. No. Again, your autophagy is an adaptation to nutrient deprivation, where of course the cell will eat its organelles. Now, in the arrow, you have here fragmented nuclei with condensed chromatin, and the shrunken cell bodies. You have actually shrunken cell bodies present here. Some are falling off accordingly. Okay, that's it for your cell injury and cell death. And thank you for making this far. This has been Gael reminding you to live fully, love deeply, laugh often, keep learning, and never forget to enjoy the ride. Yes.